And now it's time for another exciting episode of the Josh Cast. Just Cast. Josh Cast. Josh Cast. Dominus tecum, Josh Cast. This episode of the Josh Cast, the music for this was written by famed choral composer Johann Johann. And he's here with us today. Johann, thank you very much for joining us. Absolute pleasure to be here. Yes, so tell me, what got you into choral composing? Well, after my body was vaporized in the scientific accident. Sorry. You said your body was vaporized in a scientific accident. Yes, it was. I was converted to a being of pure energy. Kind of like Dr. Manhattan in The Watchmen? Yes, kind of like Dr. Manhattan in The Watchmen. At that point, my entire essence converted to energy. I knew that my calling was to become a writer of choral music. I see. So, if your body is all energy, how do you actually physically write the music? Well, I cannot physically pick up a pen or type on a computer, so I kind of just float there, and I have an assistant, and I tell the assistant what to do, and the assistant goes ahead and writes everything down. I see. I should point out that the assistant is a normal person. I assume that. I assume that because it would not make sense if there were two people who were essentially beings of energy who couldn't pick up pencils. That would not be a good match. Yes, you are correct. It would not be a good match at all. So why choral music? Oh, it sings to my soul. It does, it sings to my soul. You realize I won't be able to pay for lunch. I can't physically hold any money. Yes, I know. I also was able to come to that conclusion. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Johann, and the best of luck on your future endeavors. And I hope you figure this thing out with the not being entirely in our reality. All right, good. So we covered that. Fun little interview segment there. How am I feeling? I'll tell you how I'm feeling. I'm reading about what's going on with illegal immigrants being detained. And the fact that they are being put in these detention facilities, being separated from their families. And I feel frustrated that I don't feel like I can do anything about it. Or, let me rephrase. If I really did want to commit to do something about it, it would mean, leaving my job and, diving headlong into it. And so the fact that I don't want to do that makes me feel guilty. I think it's really sad what's happening. The children are being separated from their parents like this. That they're being thrown in detention centers to begin with. And I just don't think that's the way to treat human beings. I think the way to treat human beings is to accept them and then, passively aggressively be nice to them, but hope to God they don't actually try to strike up a conversation with you. That's civilized. And I've read that there are places I can donate to, but I don't know if that helps, and it feels like it's not enough. It'd be like saying, yeah, my granddad actually fought the Nazis in World War II. He was there at D-Day fighting the Nazis. What about your granddad? My granddad donated $25 to the anti-Hitler campaign because he didn't want to take it anymore. So I suppose the real concern here is how I will be viewed by my ancestors. It's really positive thinking to assume that I'm going to have ancestors. I will tell you that right now, my friends. Positive attitude. It's important to have a positive attitude. So that's fun. Well, we covered that. What to talk about now? What to talk about now? What's the next thing to talk about? What's the next item on my list to discuss? Art? Somebody tweeted at me. Least favorite painting. I think I'm going to mispronounce the name, but I think it's Clyte. I don't know. It's a picture of a couple kissing, and I believe they're under a blanket, and the man is kind of looming over the woman as they kiss. So either they are under a blanket and the painting is drawn in a way in which it is a little bit abstract, or the man is an L-shaped, which doesn't fit within any kind of spine condition I've ever really seen. I've never seen it that serious. As if he were standing in a car, standing through the moonroof, and his top half of his body slams into a bridge, and now he's just permanently an L-shaped person. And the night after that happened, he's under a blanket with his beloved, and they're kissing. It's a nice blanket, patchwork blanket, or a quilt. Someone took a long time to make that blanket. I have a feeling it belongs to the dude. That's my guess. And his grandmother said, "You better not be having sex under this blanket. This is a nice blanket. If I find out that you are fornicating with anyone under this blanket, I am going to be so pissed off. If you want to make love to someone, use this blanket over here from Bed Bath & Beyond." Bed Bath & Beyond is not paying for this podcast. I don't think they would. That's the kind of message they would want. Bed Bath & Beyond. When you don't really care about the sheets you're using. I think that'll do it for today. Although it would be nice if I cleared 10 minutes. So how do I wrap up this podcast? How do I wrap this thing up in a bow? What I would say, going back to the immigration thing, is that it seems to me that increasingly politics and culture, pop culture, are becoming more and more interconnected. It's why presidents who are good on TV, or who have been on TV, or who are good entertainers are getting elected. So that said, I need to figure out who the next generation president is going to be. And I think instead of donating money to a cause, I should donate money to them. So that's why I'm backing Justin Bieber. I'm doing it. He's Canadian. I think he's Canadian. So that means he's gonna be maybe help us with the healthcare system. So I'm a believer from this point forward. That's the theme of that. And or maybe I need to get off my ass and actually do something about this immigration situation. At least talk about it. At least say that I think it's sad. And it's very sad to see that people are, number one, doing this, number two, allowing it to happen, number three, that it's happening to these people.